All right, everyone. Thanks for stopping by once again to the Exit Your Way Roundtable Live. With me today, I've got Matt Moody. Matt, welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. This should be fun.
Yeah, it will, Matt. It's interesting. We actually met through a group in Salt Lake City. You know, my partner's in Salt Lake City, and he hasn't been able to attend, but it's cool to get to meet you and to learn more about what you do. And when I heard some of the things that you've done in the past, it's really interesting to think about that and where you're at today. But and I was looking at your LinkedIn profile. We'll talk about that a little bit, but tell us a little bit about yourself and your family and that kind of stuff, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, I'm married. I've been married 20 years. I have four kids. I live in a little town in Utah called Pleasant Grove, and I've been here 15 years in this home. I've been in Utah County, by BYU. I've been here since the early 80s.
Wow.
I've done a little bit of everything in business. I've been a business owner many times. I own a couple of small businesses now that were, more of hobbies than really revenue generators. But I've got an off-road company that I build Jeeps for people. And I build Jeeps for myself, and then to go test them out. We go to Moab and other off-road trails around here.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's super fun. It's a passion of mine. I really do love the Jeep community, the people that are in the Jeep community, and the things you can do in a Jeep, which are amazing. And then I've worked business. I've done business consulting. I've been an insurance agent. I've done PEO sales, which is a really complex, long, painful sometimes sales cycle. I did that for about 7 years. I've owned a car dealership of my own. I had that for about 7 years.
Wow.
I've also worked at large dealerships, big Dodge and Chrysler Jeep stores. I've worked in that space as well. I've done merchant services, so I've sold credit card processing, and it seems like there's 5 million of those people calling every day to all businesses around the world. So if you're a business owner, you've had those people call you, and and for that I apologize.
It's a necessary service.
It is. It's kind of like you're either getting a call from the merchant services company or your extended warranty on your automobile, right? Those are the ones that come in about every day. So, but I've done a lot of things. I work now as a vice president of partnerships for a marketing firm in Lehi, in Utah. And my job really is custom tailored for me, to where I just have to go out, hang out with people. I take people skiing, mountain biking, fishing, shooting, hunting, jazz games, RSL games, lunch, Topgolf. And I don't talk to clients anymore. I don't have a pipeline. I don't have an accountability. So I'm in sales, but in a secondary role, to where these partners that I take out and hang out with and go have fun with, when they have opportunities to send to the company that I work for, which is an SEO and a content marketing agency, they send them to me, and then I assign them to a sales team, and the sales team takes really good care of them, and I get paid as if I actually did any work. So it's really great.
That's awesome. That's awesome, dude. Because this is part of the reason why I wanted to get up, because I hate selling, right? I do. Everybody that is around me knows I hate selling. If I heard that this is what you got to do, I was like, man, that would be my job. Just hanging out and talking to people and connecting people. Because as we met and we were in these things, you could really tell that you enjoy people, and you enjoy helping people and connecting people. And and when you were doing it, you're telling me that you've like helping people find jobs. Just expound on that a little bit. Just putting people in touch with the right.
Yeah, it's really funny that you mentioned that. I just got off a phone call with one of our partners, and they're growing, and he had a need for a new SDR and a new graphic designer. And 5 minutes ago, I made 3 introductions to my buddy over at Disruptive Advertising for those specific roles, with very highly qualified people who are currently in the market for a new job. So I do have a pulse of a lot of different people, of what their talents are, what their skills are, what their interests are. And then oftentimes when people get laid off or they're not happy at work or whatever, I get a lot of people that reach out to me and say, hey, you know, I need a new job. This is what I'm looking for. This is the type of income I need, or this is really what motivates me. And then I'm able to connect those people with other people that I know. Prior to this job, I worked in a business consultant role. And in 7 years, I brought on 370 clients to my previous employer to run their payroll, to do their HR, to do their employee benefits and their risk management. So I was an insurance agent, but I was constantly talking with HR people and COOs and the type of people that usually if you want a job at a company, you need to talk to an HR director or COO. So I've got an extensive list of influential C-level executives and HR directors that I can put resumes in front of all the time, and I constantly am doing that and helping people. There's nothing worse than not liking what you do for work or being unemployed. It makes living life to its fullest and enjoying yourself in life very, very difficult if you are unemployed or you hate your job. So I do find great joy in helping people find gainful employment that's better than where they're at.
Yeah. And I mean, that's amazing, dude. You've probably helped. You're like a miniature Indeed, but you're just like, you're one person that's doing it with the people that you know.
Yeah.
So what do you like the most about what you get to do?
It really is spending quality time with people and creating experiences that are memorable for them, whether that's taking a group of partners. We took 11 partners up to a family private fishing ranch that we have up in Afton, Wyoming for 3 days. Or if it's, going mountain biking up on some of the most beautiful trails in the United States. So I get to go do things that are fun for me, but that are also where the partners want to be. If that's golf, then I golf. If that's just wanting to go to breakfast or lunch, then that's what it is. If it's Top Golf, great. I've got a platinum membership to Top Golf. We can go whenever you want. If it's hunting pheasants, I've got hookups for that with dogs and guides and everything. We go do that. If it's handgun shooting, if it's long distance rifle shooting or hunting, then I've got contacts for that as well. So it's the best part about my job is hanging out with cool people and being remembered for the types of experiences we're able to have together. Yeah. And that's just not normal in business anymore. I don't think. I think a lot of people have relationships that are very surface level. They don't know what they're, the guy that I'm talking to, they don't know the guy's wife's name or the kid's name. Well, I've gone, and done stuff with the families. I've gone and hung out with people's families and know their families, what they like to do, and we'll ask them about their kids next time I'm with them. And I have been blessed with a couple of gifts. One is an exceptional memory, and the other one is a love for people. So the job that I have at Big Leap, my first year that I was at the company, I've been there 2 years now. The first year I was actually in sales. And so I came into that role without any marketing experience whatsoever, but with a deep Rolodex, if you will, of people. And Big Leap, this company had a really good track record of getting results for clients. And so I leaned on the track record of the company and on my Rolodex. And in my first 12 months was able to bring on, I think it was 43 or 44 different new clients to Big Leap without knowing anything about marketing. Knowing nothing whatsoever. And so after 12 months of that, the CEO and the VP of Biz Dev came to me and they said, hey, we really like what you've done for our company. If you were able to change your job to being anything that you wanted it to be next year, what would it be? And I thought, man, this is my chance to get out of sales. This is it. This is the only chance I'll ever have. I've always done sales. I've always been good at sales, but this is my chance. And so I said, I want to get out of sales. I want to just run the channels. I want to be secondary to the sales team, but I want to just provide opportunities for the sales team. And once they have those opportunities, they can close those deals. And I can get paid when they close. So it's actually worked out exactly the way that I designed it. And literally, there's no better job in the world for me. No stress, not hard. It's perfect. It's tailored perfect for me because I wrote the job description for myself. So it's been great.
That's awesome. That's awesome because I think we'll back up to it because you are literally doing what oh, and I forgot the name now. I'll remember it. But you are literally doing what fits your personality and what you really enjoy doing. That's what's so cool about it. Like you said, it's not even work.
Yeah, no, it is. I don't feel like it's work at all. I've had a lot of job opportunities come my way without, my LinkedIn profile doesn't say I'm looking or anything like that. I'm not on Indeed looking for jobs. I don't have anything like that going on, but I've had a number of job opportunities come my way over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I was very happy at my previous work. Loved the people, loved the job, loved the work, loved everything about it. I just got burned out, which 7-year itch. I had been there 7 years, so I guess that's a real thing.
Yeah.
But I've had a lot of job offers since I've been at Big Leap, and some of them have been really, really attractive offers financially.
Yeah.
And I just go back to it and I say, man, I'm working with some of my best friends. I really love the guys I work with.
Yeah.
I get paid very well.
Yeah.
I love the company. I think the service that we offer is something that companies need, and it actually helps them to be more profitable. So it's not, I'm not trying to sell a service that people don't actually want.
Yeah.
And the job that I have, the role that I have is just no stress whatsoever. So I could go make more money elsewhere, but is money worth at this point in my career is more money worth me being miserable on the day to day because, I'm just chasing the almighty dollar, and that's not what I'm after. So
yeah, that's cool. Cause you're right. I mean, cause there is that point in everyone's life and everyone's career where you just go, listen, this is a job that I really like. Hopefully some people don't find it, but you found that, and you found that that combination of people and what you get to do on a daily basis and your personality that really works for you, which is super cool.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I wanted to, because you just don't hear this very often. You don't hear it very often. You hear a lot of people like go to work and it's okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But you can hear it in your voice that this is fun for you to connect people, to help people, and do what you love doing.
For sure.
Yeah. So when we talk about interesting stuff you get to do, I think the first time we met was on a while back, but you had just broken a bunch of ribs in a mountain bike accident. So what did you do there? You did a lot.
Yeah, I did some damage. So I'm on this trail up in Midway, and it's a beautiful trail. It used to be my favorite trail before this crash, but now I have hard feelings.
Yeah.
But, I'm riding this trail, and I'm with some partners of ours, some of these marketing companies that we work with. And I'm the last guy because I'm the most experienced on this trail. One of the guys had been multiple times. Another guy had never been on both the other guys had not been on this trail at all. So I'm in the back, and we just decide we're going to ride this thing and not really stop. So we get about 6 miles into this trail, and I crash really, really hard. And I broke 3 ribs, and I popped my right lung. Like it was collapsed. So if anyone's ever had the wind knocked out of you, this was the wind knocked out of me times 100. So I couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath. I'm actually losing a little bit of my breath right now just thinking about it. And I couldn't breathe, and I had 7 miles still to ride to get to the bottom of this trail. And my bike handlebars were all sideways, and I decided, hey, I'm going to jump on my bike. Not able to breathe. I'm lightheaded, and I can't turn to the right very good because the handlebars are so bent. And I thought, I'm just going to try to ride and catch up with these guys so they can help me out, because I knew I was in really, really bad shape.
Yeah.
And I started riding down the trail, and I got to a point in the trail where I needed to turn right, and I couldn't turn right, and I went off a cliff and fell about 15 feet off a cliff and landed in some briars, some raspberry type bushes, very spiky bushes. And I'm on the side of this hill. I'm rolling down the hill with my bike. And at that point, I just thought, this is it. This is where it ends, man. I'm done. I have so much pain. I can't carry my bike back up this cliff, and the trail doesn't go further down. I have to go across this mountain. And I sit there for a while, and I start thinking, I'm like, well, I could call my buddy Matt. I've got a buddy named Matt Galland who's got a helicopter of his own. He's like, hey, dude, if you're ever in a spot and you need a ride, call me. I'll come get you. And I was like, I could call him. or I could suck it up, or I could call Life Flight because I'm hurting. I'm dying. I've had a lot of kidney stones in my life. I've passed 35 kidney
Oh,
stones,
geez.
and those hurt a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're really bad. This was worse than kidney stones because I'm having to ride a bike down a bumpy, rocky trail, switchbacks back and forth, riding down the face of this mountain for 7 miles. Or I can just lay here and die, or I could like try to make somebody drag me out of here, but I'm a 300-pound guy and that's not going to go very well. So I stopped. I fixed my bike and I rode slowly down the mountain to where one of our partners was coming back up the mountain. He helped me out. And then I had a flat tire. I had to fix the flat tire. And by the time we got out of there, it was dark. So we rode the last probably mile and a half in the dark in a trail that, I'd been on it 3 times before. I wasn't familiar with every switchback or turn or rock or anything. So I was in a really bad shape. I got home. My wife saw me. She goes, "What happened?" I was dirty. I couldn't stand up straight. I was in a lot of pain. And I said, "Well, I crashed my bike really bad twice." I said, "I'm pretty sure I've got broken ribs, and I think I popped my lung." And she goes, "Well, you're going to the hospital right now." And I'm like, "Ain't happening. I'm not going to the hospital. I hate the hospital."
Yeah.
I always want to avoid going to the hospital because it's expensive. Yeah. It's never fun. So I got in the shower. I made myself some dinner. It was about 10 o'clock. My wife covertly invited my neighbor to come over, who's an emergency room doctor. And he did his little saturation test on me. I had good saturation in my blood for some reason still. I wasn't asphyxiated or anything like that. But he did the stethoscope and checked my breathing. He's like, "Dude, you need to go to the hospital like right now." And I'm like, "I'll go tomorrow." He's like, "You'll be dead tomorrow. You need to go now." So I went to the hospital, had surgery that night. I was in the hospital for 2 days and then came home. And that was about 6 weeks ago that all happened. But feeling pretty good now. I'm back in the gym. I'm back lifting weights and everything. So it wasn't the end of the world. It could have been, but I've got a lot of life insurance. I think I'm worth more dead than alive. But anyway, it's good to not die.
Yeah, you have to worry if the wife says, "Nah, you'll be okay."
If she argues against me going to the hospital, that's when I know I need to get life insurance, right?
Yeah, you can dial it back a bit. But yeah, I didn't hear the whole story in that when we were together, obviously. But that's quite a deal, and it is it is interesting how when we hurt ourselves, I've had number of injuries, not that bad, but when you do that, you just know. I still don't want to go to the doctor.
No, no one ever wants to go to the hospital. I thought I'll go to my family practitioner in the morning. He can help me out, but that's a $25 copay, not $5,000 like an emergency room visit costs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's been a number of years ago, but I burst a disc in my back. And that was about the same thing. It's like, 3 weeks later, I finally went to the neurologist, and I was in the hospital after that. So,
but that's no fun.
So the other thing that you mentioned too, just because I love sports, outdoor sports, you get me outside and I love it. Long distance shooting. So what do you got shooting, and what's long distance to you?
So long distance is about 1,000 yards.
Oh God, that's cool. That is cool.
So they make these guns that nowadays that can shoot, even past that. But 1,000 yards, if you can hit a 9-inch plate at 1,000 yards, you're doing pretty good.
Oh God, yeah.
So you can hit it with a 308, you can hit it with a 338 Lapua, you can hit it with a 50 cal, 270. You can hit it, but that's you probably have a 20-foot drop. So your scope is shooting here, and your gun shooting here, and your scope showing here. And by the time it actually gets to the target, it's going to have a 20-foot drop. Yeah. By the time it gets out 1,000 yards, so it's that. But that's super fun to ring the steel plate at 1,000.
Oh yeah. I've shot a Barrett 50 at about 500 yards, and I couldn't hit squat other than you're missing, or hitting the dirt behind it out of the ways. But man, that's the 1,000 yards is a long way.
Yeah, that's a long shot.
Yeah, that's for sure. Cool. Well, it's unique to find even ranges that are that big.
Yeah, we've got a lot out here. There's a place called Wasatch Wing and Clay where we go pheasant hunting and shotgun shooting. and they've got a long distance range out there that has a target every 100 yards for, out to 1,000 yards.
Wow.
My buddy Rick owns that place. That's a pretty cool place to go and just shoot guns. They've got a handgun range. They've got shotgun, all kinds of different trap shooting and sport trap out there. And it's super fun.
Yeah, years ago, a friend of mine and I, we were gainfully employed. We didn't have kids, and we had a new sporting clays range close to us. And I think at that time I had a Ruger Red Label, and I bought it new that year. And I think by the end of the summer, it had about 4,000 rounds through it, and it just fell open, plunk. We would go into the stores, and as many of the we started reloading, and it was crazy because reloading just took too much time. So then we went, okay, let's go to wherever we could go and buy just like literally shopping carts full of the shells. And it's a blast. It's a blast.
Yeah. You got that done before you had kids, because after that, you don't have time or money for that, right?
No. And when you talk about that, now you've got 2 boys and 2 girls, and you got the youngest is 9, the oldest is 19. Man, you got to be running.
Yeah, it's busy. There's no doubt. The boys work really hard. They both have pretty much full-time jobs, so they're gone a lot. But we find time to go golfing or mountain biking. They do like to eat, so if I ever want time with them, I just say, hey, we're going to get a steak somewhere, and they're always in for that. So I do cook a lot. I've had a lot of years of French cuisine training. So I'm actually a classically trained French chef from a buddy of mine who owned a nice restaurant here in town. Yeah. So I attended classes for about 2.5, maybe 3 years of French cuisine cooking. And I can always get my son's attention and his friend's attention. If I just make them a meal, they're always there to eat it. And that's been super fun for me as well. And then I've added a smoker. I got a Traeger smoker. Becoming a pit master there with the smoker and obviously grilling as well.
What's your favorite thing to smoke?
The favorite thing that I smoke that other people say should be my favorite is my brisket.
Yeah.
I make a mean brisket. So do that. I did a tri-tip last night. That was really good. Smoked turkey was really good last weekend. But I'll make wings. I'll make ribs. I'll make anything. I love to barbecue. So it's
I've got a small electric one. My wife bought me a smoking it one. It's really nicely insulated, and it'll hold about a 15-pound turkey. It's not a huge one.
Okay.
But man, it not being pellet or anything, and just putting the chips in the bottom of it and letting it go. Man, getting used to that thing and just coming back, 14, 16 hours later, if you're cooking a big pork shoulder or something, that kind of meat out of the smokers is incredible.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've got a big one. I can cook. So I cooked a 22 and a 15-pound bird in mine at the same time.
Yeah.
Or I can cook like 4 large briskets in it. The turkeys, they were in pans and everything, so that took up a little extra space. But yeah, I've got a really big the Pro Select. When I do stuff, I usually go whole hog, if you will, and buy the biggest product, the nicest product I can find. So
yeah, well, it's funny that the other thing that you and I talked about, or you talked about briefly, I don't know when we're going to call sometime, is that you're in an MMA. You trained in MMA.
Yeah.
And we got Mike O'Connor on here. He used to actually do MMA as well in Chicago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And then another friend of mine, Jeffrey Graham, was an MMA, trained in MMA here in Washington. So
yeah,
it's a popular sport. You get in really good shape from it.
Oh, you do for sure. I got into it because I've got a buddy that owned a gym, and he's all, hey, we need a big guy to come and throw around. You qualify. And I was like, perfect. So I got into it. When I started, I was about 310 pounds, and I was rolling with, big other 300-pound guys and, boxing with them and wrestling with them and doing jujitsu and all that kind of stuff. And I actually got to really liking it. And I did it for about 2.5 years. And I was the heavyweight training partner for a gym here in town called Throwdown, or also the Pit Elevated. So Randy Couture owns the Pit in Vegas.
Yeah.
This was an affiliate gym of his up here in Utah. And they call it Elevated because we're at about 4,200 feet above sea level. So you kind of got that high altitude, low oxygen thing going on.
Yeah.
And had a lot of fun doing that. It was good times, met a lot of great people and good friends in that sport.
Yeah.
Good stuff. It's been a number of years ago. I think I got out of that about 10 years ago, but it was fun while it lasted.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I'm sure it teaches you a lot of different things about yourself in addition to getting in really good shape.
Yeah.
Because there's very few sports like that where you're just going to be, wrestling around and smacking on each other a little bit, trying to just training or whatever you're doing. And it's a different thing to do, I can imagine. So
yeah, and I never really had the desire or the fire to get in the ring and actually go test myself and want to maybe die or kill somebody. I know some people, that's what they're really after. I was just in it because I had some friends that were doing it. I thought it was fun. It was a great way to get some exercise. Yeah. I was always sore. My neck always hurt. My arms, my shoulders always hurt. It's one of those things you're gonna get beat up, and it's hard on the joints, and it is what it is. But I enjoyed it while it lasted, for sure.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool, man. Well, what you do now with Big Leap, I mean, Big Leap's a cool company. When you look at helping the companies do the SEO as they will, and we won't mention them in specific, but you guys are really helping them. Some of these companies that are very well known that people would their street names you're helping them get millions of views a month.
Yeah.
When you start to look at these things, and I guess you don't really think about Utah, Salt Lake City, and one of the best SEO companies around.
Well, there's a lot of great SEO companies here in Utah. One of the biggest ones that kind of started things off here as far as the industry in Utah was a company called Orange Soda. Yeah. Orange Soda was a big company. They got sold to an AT&T affiliate company out of Wisconsin or something for like $30 million, maybe 12 years ago. Yeah. And when that sold, a lot of people who were high ups and really understood SEO here in Utah left Orange Soda and went and started their own agencies. They got their money, their buyouts, whatever. Yeah. They moved the corporate back to Wisconsin or Minnesota, and they started these agencies. And that's what happened with ours. Big Leap was founded at that time. Okay. And SEO.com was here. There's 97th Floor is here. They're another good SEO company. There's quite a few good SEO agencies here in town. We feel like we have the best client list of all the SEO agencies here in town when we're working with a lot of Fortune 100 companies that are household names. Yeah. And they cool. They see us as an extension of their team, really, an extension of bandwidth, an extension of expertise. They all have large marketing teams, but they don't want to do the content strategy. They don't want to do the backlink acquisition or all the technical side of things, putting in the H1 tags, the meta tags, the title tags, the canonicals, all the real super boring stuff. Marketing teams want to do all the super creative and what's seen, how a brand is seen in front of the world. They want to do that stuff, and they leave the kind of the janitorial side of SEO up to us to do because we do it very, very well. Yeah, that's cool. And you're exactly right. I mean, the big companies have the marketing people that want to think about, oh, this is the way the ads are going to look and this is where they're going to go. And you guys are like behind putting that foundation in. Yep. So that when those ads go out, the right people see them. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, we're creating the content as well. So we're writing people's blog posts, or we're writing white papers or ebooks for them, landing pages on their website, answering questions, what consumers are actually looking for, to make sure that when our clients' services are out there in the ether and people are looking for what they do, that they actually get found because there is plenty of content, keywords and phrases that they rank well for because of our efforts, that they actually get business from it. So, well, and that is really the game now. I mean, the pay-per-click market has changed so much in the last even 5 years. Yeah, that's going crazy trying to even compete in it. And if you can do it with SEO, you're oftentimes far better off in the long run. Well, it's significantly less expensive. Yeah, than just playing the paid ads game all the time. Yeah.
Well,
You actually own that space instead of just renting the space for as long as you're willing to pay for those ads. So
100%, because you got to be, even if you're going to rent it to the beginning, you got to build out behind it to get your long-term durability for your company. That's for sure.
Yep.
So it is interesting because, you know, I just say again, it's changed. The landscape has changed so much, and COVID this year, and the rise of the rebirth, not rebirth, but the, you know, just the exponential growth of e-commerce this year has only made it more challenging in the pay-per-click world, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's very cool. So Matt, with that, you know, one thing that comes to mind well, first of all, I got to ask you about your Jeeps. I know we talk a lot about this stuff and not much about work stuff, but what's the coolest Jeep that you ever built?
So with two friends, one of them being a body shop guy, he always wanted to build what's called a brute.
Yep.
And so I went to an auction and I bought a vehicle, a Wrangler Unlimited that had been wrecked in the back. And so I got it at a way, way cheap price. This was probably a 2-year-old Jeep Wrangler that had some pretty significant body damage. And I think I picked it up for about $8,000.
Oh, wow.
And it was a six-cylinder, 4-liter, 6-speed manual transmission, black. And I knew I was cutting off the last 6 feet of this vehicle anyway. So all the body damage in the world didn't mean anything to me. And we took what's called an American Expedition Vehicles kit, a brute kit, and the high fender kit. So we replaced the body on the front, everything in front of the firewall. And then from about the middle of the Wrangler door back was all replaced with a truck bed and a cabin enclosure. And all that body work, all the parts and the body work alone were about $15,000 just to make it look like a truck.
Yeah.
And so Jeep used to make a truck, and Jeep made a truck again.
Yeah.
I wanted a truck that no one else had. So I made this really super capable off-road truck called a Brute, and I had about a 6-inch lift on it, had the tummy tuck kit on it, all the underbody armor on it, had 37-inch big Toyos on it, a Warn winch in the front, an ARB front bumper, lockers, gears, 4-to-1 transfer case.
Wow.
An onboard air system. So when I aired my tires down, I didn't have to drive all the way to a gas station to air them back up. I had my own compressor and tank. I had underbody lights so I could go off-roading at night. This was my baby, and I loved this Jeep. And when I had my own company and had this Jeep, that was great because I didn't have to drive it for a daily driver.
Yeah.
In 08 and 09, it was a little bit of a rough economy, and people weren't really spending money on this kind of stuff anymore. So I sold off all my auto inventory. I had a little car lot. I had about 45 vehicles at a time. I sold off all my inventory except for that Jeep that I loved and my wife's car. And I got thrust into this business development position where I'm driving like 2,000 to 2,500 miles a month.
Oh, God.
At $8 or 8 miles per gallon on this Jeep. I'm driving all over heaven, you know, and I'm spending more money on gas. I probably spent like $1,200 a month on gas.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was awful. It was awful. So I had to sell it.
Yeah.
And I got a car that, you know, I bought a Hyundai Sonata. So that was a very real moment for me, going from my favorite vehicle I've ever had to a 37 mile per gallon Hyundai Sonata. That was not a happy day.
Yeah, but it's cool that you had it. I mean, you can say you had it, you did those kind of things, and that. I mean, the experiences are I think in life are things that we remember the most. Those little niches in time that you remember, and the experience of building that is really cool for you.
Yeah, it was super. It was super, and it drew in a lot of traffic. We had people coming from all over the place. They'd drive by my car lot and see that truck, and they'd be like, "What in the heck is that? I got to see that." They'd stop in and I'd sell them a different Wrangler.
Yeah.
And I'd say, "We got all your money together. We can do this conversion for you." And everyone was like, yeah. And it never happened. No one ever talked to their wife into putting a $20,000 mod on a Jeep Wrangler. But I was the only one that got that pulled off. So.
Oh, well, that's great. That's great. Well, Matt, it's cool to talk to you. I'm glad we had a chance to get to know each other better. And like I said, it's interesting to see and get to talk to you a little bit more, learn more about you, because I think back to many, many years ago, my grandfather used to listen to Zig Ziglar in the car, and he said, man, if you help enough people get what they want, you'll have everything you want. And when I think about you and the job you do with the relationships that you get to build, it must have to feel like that for you.
It definitely does. Yeah.
It's so cool. It's great to get to meet you, Matt. And if somebody wants to get a hold of you, Matt, what's the best way to do that?
Well, I think since we're on LinkedIn and I'm on LinkedIn and they're on LinkedIn, obviously, if they're on this show, they can reach out. They can reach out on LinkedIn. I'll accept, and we can set something up. We can put something on the calendar and just chat.
Very good.
Well, I appreciate you making time and having me as a guest. This has been fun. I was a little nervous at first, but this has been just super natural and just having a conversation with a buddy. So it's been great.
Well, and you're an interesting guy. You make it easy for us. Make it easy.
Well,
thanks so much, Matt. Awesome to have you on. Everyone else, thanks a lot for being here and watching us again. And we'll be out until the next time. Thanks a lot.
Very good. Thank you very much, guys. See ya.